Hello, everybody. SUNSfan here with SirActionSlacks. He's a very thirsty young man.
Hello!
If you're not aware, Dotacinema will be covering Artifact once its eventual release bestows upon us. I don't know when this is going to happen, Slacks, but it did say 2018, and I don't know about you. I'm pretty excited, buddy.
I'm pretty excited, too. I mean, the Twitters really got me on the edge of my seat. The last time they tweeted about Artifact, the last time we got any information was in August.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And then a few troll tweets after that, just directed at us.
You know,
So-
I was kind of excited about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of like Hearthstone. It's a little too casual for me. Maybe a Dota one would be more interesting for me specifically. But then when they followed me on Twitter, Slacks, along with you, I'm like, all right, I'm in, boys. I got.
Oh, thanks, you vain piece of garbage.
No. But in all
just follow me on Twitter.
Of course, I don't know much information about it, but as nobody does really. But I'm still pretty freaking excited because never really been that much into what card games are you into, if any? I'll just start off like that. None.
Never played a card game before.
Okay.
Never watched Hearthstone. Couldn't. Gwent? Who fucking cares? Pardon me.
I tried Gwent. Yeah, I don't know. Hearthstone is the only one I could kind of get into. I can't play it. It's miserable to fucking play, which we'll kind of go over in this conversation that we're going to be having. But I do love watching it. So, again, there's some things that hopefully they take from that game, and maybe they make it less casual. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think that's the main thing, right? It's not going to be. It's going to be the Dota of card games, so it should be difficult in theory.
Here's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Dota 2 was like the most balanced and fair MOBA.
Yep.
Is the most balanced and fair MOBA out of all of them. So I think that was the goal. Just to make a card game that was better than Hearthstone, wasn't pay to win, that was more entertaining than Gwent, because what I heard about Gwent was that it was good gameplay-wise, but nothing like how you won that game was based on how many points you had, right? And that was like, you know, you didn't win by destroying your enemy. It's like you had more points or something. What do I know? I didn't play the goddamn game. And then they didn't want to make anything like Magic, where it's like all mystical and shit. So I'm into it. I never played a MOBA before Dota. It dragged me into MOBAs. It ruined my life. And I'm ready to be dragged into card games with Artifact. I'm pumped as hell.
Yeah, so this video specifically, of course, we're going to be coming out with more content in the future, I assume. Of course, we don't have much information to go off of, so this is kind of just grasping at straws, if you will. So to introduce this video after this 3-minute and 15-second intro, this will be our Artifact wish list. Things that we want, perhaps don't like, about other card games that we don't want applied to this one, and we'll see what ends up sticking. So the first one, which is probably the biggest discussion, is the business model. Will they go the Dota route where it's completely free to play and it's just cosmetics and things of that nature? Will it be pay to win, which you could argue is Hearthstone, or some sort of a hybrid model? Do you have anything that you would prefer?
So, of course, I would prefer that it's all like Dota. You know, if you want to have cool, flashy stuff, you pay for it, but it gives everybody access to everything, and then it's all about skill and planning stuff and all that. But I just don't know, how does that work in a card game? Because it does say it's a trading card game.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that, yep.
You're supposed to trade stuff, but in my perfect world, my wish list is Artifact completely free. You get all the cards when you come in, and you're good to go.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a different answer because kind of to piggyback up what you're saying, I was thinking about this for quite a while. I don't think they can possibly make this the same as Dota, where it's completely free to play. I don't think it's feasible from a business standpoint. So what I would say is so this is my assumption, is that every hero will be in Artifact that's in Dota. So we're talking like 110 plus heroes. I think you get all those heroes for free, but the cards, I assume, are going to be like these card packs you're going to have to open. But, which we'll get into the trading thing in just a minute. But first, you could also make money off a ton of cosmetic type stuff, which obviously they do for Dota, but at the same time, you can go way crazier probably with Artifact, because people aren't going to get all antsy and super upset about getting special effects when it has no real effect on the game, right? Just making it pretty. So they can probably go crazier. But going to our next thing on the list is the fact that it says digital trading card game, like you mentioned. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, if you got all the cards for free, what's the point of that, right? That means there's no way they're giving all the cards for free. I think we can assume that's the case.
But how is it fair and balanced if they don't give everybody a free card? What if there's like super powerful cards and super good ones that, not everybody has? That's not the Dota way. That's what separated them from all the other ones, is that we got all the stuff for free. But, I mean, what could they give away that you would trade for? I don't know. That's strange.
Well, I think the fact that you can trade, we're talking about trading with other people, right? So like you get a good card that let's say you're never going to use this card, but it's good, and I have one, basically vice versa. We just trade like that. So what that does is it kind of takes away a lot of the RNG from opening packs, because you're going to be opening packs anyway. In Hearthstone, again, this is my only experience with digital card game. In Hearthstone, you just open a ton of packs. You end up getting the same card 1,000,000 times. You end up dusting them for like 1/10 the value. Pretty frustrating for me that's why I don't play Hearthstone. I actually can't stand that mechanic at all. So I think the trading mechanic makes it a little bit more fair. I can't, and again, if they come with all the cards, I'm fine with that. I just don't think it's possible to make money if they give everything for free, except for cosmetics. I don't think the same business model works for Artifact, but I have been wrong before. So
I mean, how would you even do cosmetics on a card game, right? You just like release like golden versions of Axe or something? Like what does that even do?
Like different again, I don't know anything about Artifact, but if I'm going to talk about Hearthstone, you can change the board the way it looks. So in this case, if they're like change the terrain kind of like in Dota, change the way your hero looks, the effects that actually are applied if there are effects. You can do a ton of stuff. I think it would be pretty cool.
Okay. So I could totally see cosmetics and stuff, and then you open those up, and it's kind of like RNG crates and chests based on stuff, and maybe, maybe some cards are, if you get a card, you can like dust it or whatever you said, and it will give you more points that you can unlock stuff with. Maybe that's the trading aspect, But
yeah, perhaps.
I just can't see Valve coming out with a game where people would be impaired. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. If they go the full free route and they make money on cosmetics like Dota, if they can make that work, I think they should definitely do it. I just, again, not a huge amount of experience with card games, so I'm not sure how feasible that really is. But anyway, going on to the third point, the wish list, if you will. I don't know about you, but being competitively viable is super important. Hearthstone is a great example of one that is not, in my opinion. I'm sure there's going to be some people that really hate me saying that. I feel like so Hearthstone at a certain point in time, they went to a crossroads, a point of no return. They're like, all right, we're going to really cater to esports, or we're going to go super casual. And they went fucking super casual, which I thought was a mistake. Everything is RNG. I think with Valve's history, Dota 2, Counter-Strike, I don't know about TF2. Probably not.
No.
Most of their games are very competitively viable and kind of esports centric, which I think this will be as well. I hope for, at least.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's esports centric too. I feel like they're kind of obsessed with the esports aspect. At least anytime I've ever been to TI, all the guys at Valve love watching esports. They love rooting for teams and stuff. So I can't imagine that they're making a new game that wouldn't be esports viable. The question is, can you actually do that in a card game? Especially with all the stuff that we're talking about, with like having stuff where you have to trade to make it good and all that. And I don't know. I'm sure that they're gonna do it. I'm gonna put that on the wish list. Yes, make it esports viable, please.
I mean, I think
down.
You're right. It is harder to make it kind of esports viable as a card game because there's always going to be that RNG factor of you not getting the card that you want, whatever the case may be. But you can cater it in a way that, or you can build it in a way that it makes it less like Hearthstone, where you have to rely on that a lot.
Aren't card games different though? Because let's talk about this. Like in Dota, you can have an OP hero, but there's ways to play around that and stuff. But that's based on individual skill in the game. I don't know anything about card games, but isn't there always going to be a most optimal build? Like I talked to Hearthstone pro players, and they're like, "Yeah, we all play the exact same cards, 80% of everything, and then 20% of that variance is what makes pro play." Like that sounds fucking garbage. I mean, isn't that the way that card games are? There's always going to be something that's super optimal anyway.
I mean, you could say that for Dota, right? There's always something that's more optimal, technically speaking. But the fact that the game is so deep because of 110 heroes, if nothing else, you just buff everybody to the same general level, and then you have a lot more variety, which I mean, going with a lot of assumptions here, but I'm expecting Artifact to kind of go down the same road that Dota has. I mean, it makes sense, right? To kind of piggyback off of a successful game that you've built over the last God knows how many years at this point. So, but the real question, will they have a TI, or will it be at TI? What would you prefer?
I would be its own event. Make Artifact into its own entity, because I'm excited for the fact that Artifact will probably bring more people into Dota. One of the big problems that we have in Dota is that nobody's joining, and it's got the hardcore fans that aren't going anywhere else, but eventually those hardcore fans are either going to die or go to PUBG. So we need more people joining Dota, and I feel like having a card game that's super good and successful and has the Valve banner will drag people from Artifact to Dota. But in order for that to happen, I think it has to be its own entity. You know, you can't have a side project at TI and be like, and now before the finals, here's a kid that plays Artifact. Like, that's give him some, give him some respect. Give it its own identity.
But what if he played against AI? You know, that would be so good.
Guys, we found an AI. He's gonna beat Dendi again on Artifact.
Yeah, no, I agree. It should be its own thing. I mean, maybe they could do something with TI, but it shouldn't be like the main event or anything like that, for sure.
Right. And I'm pretty sure after that great announcement, they probably don't want to do any Artifact shit at TI ever again.
Yeah, I think so. They got off to a rough start, so that's why we're hoping for the best now. Okay, so next on the list of things that we wish Artifact will add to the game, this one's kind of funny because it's a good tutorial, which Dota 2 does not have. I assume, again, I'm assuming a lot of things here, but I do assume that Dota 2 or Artifact will be kind of the Dota 2 of the card game realm. Sure. So it'll be hard. It'll be difficult to learn, difficult to master. It'll be fun, whatever, very deep. You need a tutorial, right? My guess is they will have a tutorial because you kind of have to for card games. But where's the Dota 2 tutorial? Not to get off on a tangent, Slacks. The one in Dota 2 is garbage.
Don't do this.
Come on, buddy.
Don't do this. There's an Artifact video, please.
Good Lord.
I feel like they will have a good tutorial, and I feel like it's going to be in-depth because overall it's much easier to describe. As we said before, there's no play in a card game. There's the rules, there's the packs, and then there's figuring it out on your own, the combinations. But as long as I can teach you the base, it'll be good. And also, they're expecting probably the majority of the Dota fan base to be going to their first card game because they like Dota. So with that in mind, they're probably going to bust ass making sure that the tutorial is legit. It's impossible to make a Dota 2 tutorial, by the way. I mean, it's super hard. How do you do it? Well, you teach them how to play one hero, and that doesn't teach them anything about the rest of the 111. Okay. There's 112 heroes.
Not to go off on a tangent here, but I agree on one respect that making a tutorial for Artifact would, in theory, be a lot easier, right? Because there's a lot more to Dota 2. There's no way it's going to be as in-depth as Dota 2. But if you, the tutorial literally doesn't even work in the game if you try it, right? There's a base level of, you click this to do this kind of thing that you could put in the game and make it a little bit more robust. But again, another story. So that's something we're expecting.
Why make a good tutorial when you could just make a whole nother game to get people to play your game? Think about it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
How does making a tutorial make you a bunch of money, SUNSfan? It doesn't.
That's
just
true.
Make a new game and trick people.
You could hold a contest for the workshop artists to make a tutorial and give them money for that.
Yeah, the last workshop artist contest really worked out great.
All right, this isn't supposed to be about Dota 2. All right, next on the list is having clan or guild support. So, and maybe even something that people want, like self-sustained tournament brackets in the client. Just, pretty important, I think, at least for, well, Dota 2 could use that as well, honestly, but probably more so for Artifact, I think.
Yeah, being able to build those groups together and those fan bases was actually super good. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the day with the Dota 2 clans and how that worked out. And they still kind of have it a little bit in this one, but you can't really do anything. You really have a chat room, but really making kind of that interconnectivity between the community sounds pretty good to me too. It's a card game though. I mean, it's a fucking card game. And do you really need that much to like hang out and be like, hey guys, got a really sick card today? Like, what the hell is that gonna do?
I mean, you can scrim, 1v1 scrims all day. I mean, that's a really good way for people to get better, to connect. Perhaps if they don't know where to go to get better, that something built into the client, you could definitely take advantage of that, I think. At least it'll be easier to accomplish than for Dota 2, right?
More community, always better, in my opinion.
And it makes it just more robust and rich experience in general for players at all skill levels, I think. But next on the list, and this is assuming that that artifact is 1v1, which I think is kind of the standard, right? I would like there to be more game modes for like team play, having more variety, more people, more social, not so solitary in the 1v1.
What are you talking about? It's a card. How can you play a card game with more than one person? What are you talking about?
I mean, Heroes of the Storm has a hero that two people control. Anything's possible.
Ogre guy.
Yeah, anything's
possible. But that's I mean, sure, whatever. Alternate game modes. Yeah. What a surprise! The guy who comes up with Captain's Draft thinks that there should be alternate game modes. What a fucking...
It's all about variety, I mean, you have solo ranked matchmaking, you got team ranked matchmaking in Dota. Mm-hmm. You got a lot to work with, so why not? I think a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about, a lot of analogies can be made between Dota 2 and this game anyway, right?
Sure. Well, for one, I do hope that there's a rank system, and then I hope that there's a casual system again. And I think that they did that really well in Dota. Even though the training is garbage, I feel like having all those different kind of play styles of levels of difficulty and seriousness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
hoping for that.
So that was actually the next thing on my list. So,
sorry.
Same features as Dota, right? So you talked about matchmaking, whether it's ranked, casual, even turbo mode. I don't know how long these games are. I'm assuming they're not going to be that long, though. Yeah. Even like replay system is huge. Reconnect feature is huge. Admin pausing in a tournament game or remaking stuff that Hearthstone does not have. Very important, I think. And considering that, again, they're probably going to be using Source 2 for Artifact as the engine, they should be able to do this relatively easily since they've done it before. So all that stuff is going to be super important.
Isn't it different? Don't you not want people to spectate? Because then they'll steal people's decks and stuff like that, I mean...
Well, no.
How...
that's the next one. I hate you so much. You're ruining this list. You're ruining this list.
I'm not ruining the list. I'm just talking.
All right, forget about spectating. Go to the next thing, okay? What else on this list here for the features is Dota 2? Okay. Reconnect feature. Do you like that one, Slacks?
Do I like No, I think you shouldn't reconnect. I feel like once someone drops from the game should submit. It should be over. Of course, what am I going to argue with you on the reconnect system?
I'm not asking you to argue. I'm asking you to agree.
Yes, I agree. You should be able to reconnect your game, you idiot.
All right.
There should be ranked. There should be casual. There should be matchmaking. You wrote down that you think there should be matchmaking. Do you agree or disagree?
So here's the thing, though. You don't seem to understand. There's some games that come out that don't have some of these, what we would consider super basic features. Like literally a decade into the game, they still don't have replay system. Not going to call them out. League of Legends. But some games don't have these basic features. I'm just crossing, dotting my I's, crossing my T's. Just... No, not cross out the list. Check the list.
You should be able to use a mouse in the game. What do you think about that? Agree or disagree?
Optional.
Okay, great.
And we'll get to that again in this list.
Oh well.
But next on the list, next on the list is Spectator UI, which you don't seem to be a big fan of. But again, it can be just like Dota TV, have a delay.
I don't get. I mean,
I know what you're saying. Go ahead.
This is a card game, like, all of it is, like, strategy, but it's only based on your deck. You build this, like, perfect deck, and then you want to keep that on the down low, and, you don't, like, change out the deck and stuff. Unless there's some kind of system where they... Maybe when you get, like, matched against the opponent, you get, like, a sneak peek of what they've run in the past, and then you have, like, multiple decks or something. That's one way that it could work, but... As far as I'm concerned, your deck is like your secret baby in a card game, right? That's like your Yu-Gi-Oh shit. And if everybody knows what you're running, doesn't that make it...
I mean, I feel like most of the good players will be streaming anyway. At least that's how it is for Hearthstone. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it depends on how deep the game is, too, I suppose.
Sure.
And it's hard to make a list like this when you haven't actually seen the game, because we're leaping in a lot of directions, but...
Sure.
I think if there's a delay, and perhaps, like, let's say you spectate a game, you can't see their cards unless they play them. It's not like you can see their, like, if they're holding their cards, right? You can't see it unless they play it. So that adds a level of, I don't know, ambiguity, I guess. Or maybe they can turn off, like, I have a private feature so nobody can watch them. I don't know. But I'm thinking more, not only just like pro players like we watch right now in Dota 2 with the watch tab, but watching your friends play. You know, I think it's a super basic feature that should be included in some capacity. But
all right, yeah,
there's an argument to be made. I understand what you're saying.
Someone's gonna make a website anyway that tracks every card that you've ever played online, and then as soon as you log in, you can type in their name, and it'll be like, this is how this guy plays.
Right.
So,
yeah. Potentially.
Whatever. Go ahead.
All right. Next on the list is support for tablet and phones, which I assume this is going to be the case no matter what. But again, dotting our I's, crossing our T's. When I think of a Dota card game, for some reason, I just think that the graphics are going to be really good. I don't know why that is. Probably not though. It's still a card game, so it should be on your phone and tablets. Like if I picture tournaments, you just bring a tablet or a phone.
Sure.
You know, you don't need to bring a computer or anything like that, which makes tournaments a lot easier to run, which will be exciting.
I mean, goddamn Steam Guard makes me have my phone on me all the time now. Anyway, so you might as well let me play Artifact when I log in to go do the stupid Steam Guard shit. So
yeah,
I'm down with that. Agreed. Tablets, phones, retinal scanners.
Sure.
Go nuts. Sure.
All right, that one's super easy. Again. We have to, guys, there's some games that don't have this stuff. A lot of Dota 2 players are watching like, why the fuck are they talking about this? Just trust me. You want these things in your game. Don't take it for granted, you know? There's a lot of things you take for granted in life.
Yeah.
We're breathing right now. I'm happy about that. I'm not taking that for... Although I'm a little sick, so I'm not breathing as well as I'd like.
I don't support you breathing. I think that should be removed. But...
So next on the list is going to be crossover into the Dota 2 client. So whether that be, so I'm thinking a lot of Blizzard games do this, right? You have a sale for a set in Dota 2, and if you buy it, you get something in Artifact or vice versa. There's no way they're not going to do this, right? This has got to be a thing, and it's pretty cool.
Good. Hell yeah. I want to do an achievement in Artifact and get a new set in Dota. You know what that does? That brings back the workshop again and has items coming out that aren't just associated with...
How would the workshop artists get money for that, though? Worry about that later.
Worry about it later. But suffice it to say, having things come back into Dota that aren't specifically tied to like Valve-only things and TI and stuff would be great. Everybody's been waiting for new sets and stuff that aren't like strangleholded, so that'd be good. And just like motivating people to make the jump. That's what made me make the jump anyway from Team Fortress 2 to Dota, was that they were giving away free hats. So do it! Integrate it out. It should be cool. And I want to unlock things for Artifact with stuff that I do in Dota and vice versa. Please connect the two games like that.
Sounds good. I think that's definitely something they're planning. Okay, next is going to be an easy-to-use deck creator, as well as a feature to import, export, share your decks with people to websites, to through email, through Twitter, whatever the case may be. I think that's kind of a basic thing. I don't think Hearthstone has all of that, but they do have an easy-to-use deck creator. So
I feel like this will be coming very easy for Valve. They did a lot of work on their Dota guide systems, like the items, and you drag stuff into there, and they have a bunch of resources for that. So I don't think it would be particularly hard for them to make something like that. So I'm guessing it's going to be in there, but sure. Dot the I's. So yes, let us share our decks. Let us import, export.
I mean, I want you to make like a meme deck, post it on Twitter, and I can just download it and just import it into my game directly. That's the kind of stuff I want. That would be cool.
You think so? Yeah.
Like Hearthstone, you have to do it manually. I think, at least. Yeah.
Wouldn't everyone in the world just be like, you know, what's the top pro player's deck? Here it is. He posted it. Now everyone uses that deck, you know? And then someone's like, oh, well,
see, that's
how do
the
you
thing,
counter
though.
this deck?
Like, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that, but again, I'm making comparisons to Hearthstone. There's 9 heroes in Hearthstone. 9. Right? There's going to be 110 plus, I assume, in Artifact. So
yeah.
You're going to have more variety no matter what. So I'm not super worried about that.
112? Do you not know how many heroes are in? You've said around 100 like 8 times in this video.
110 plus. I haven't been correct.
Why would you just commit?
I'm correct. Okay? I'm correct. So next on the list, we've kind of talked about this, but I was more talking about Valve implementing like a team play mode as part of the game. But what I want is similar to what they have in Dota 2, except better, hopefully, an arcade where people can create mods, card game modes for themselves, and it gets upvoted. People can play whatever they want. And again, a lot of the work up front is on Valve's side to actually implement a system like that. But once it's done, all they have to do really is just have maintenance, right? If they come up with an update, make sure it doesn't break things of that nature, which you can probably relegate to or delegate to the community. But I think like if you made like something that you could go in and make a custom card game mode, how cool does that sound?
No, I don't care. What? No.
How does that not sound cool?
What do you mean? You want me to make solitaire? A custom card game mode? I mean, I guess. Wouldn't that just be a custom mode where you could move like pieces of paper around? They're just cards.
Again, I only can make comparisons to Hearthstone. They have a brawl that they come out with every week or two. Okay.
Yeah.
And it just changes. Like it just completely changes everything. If you want to take part in it. So, for example, you can only use 1 mana cost cards against somebody else. Stuff like that. Just weird little things.
You're saying like community night where you can only play X kinds of cards. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I mean, it can be anything, right? Like, let's say it's like Hearthstone, and you just start with 10 mana instead of having to ramp up. You just start with 10 mana. You make your own deck. So you can do a lot of things, and it's super easy, I would think, to implement. It's just about people creating it.
They used to do stuff like that in Left 4 Dead 2. They were called mutations, and they were a lot of fun. Valve would, every week, they would come out with something new, like everyone only has shotguns, the spawns of the zombies are like ×3, shit like that. And that was pretty interesting and fun. I will say, by the way, there are 115 heroes, SUNSfan. Did you know that?
Thank you for looking that up, you piece
I had
of
to
shit.
look it up.
112!
I thought there was 12, but I forgot
Is
about
there 115?
and the other one. And the monkey.
And Monkey King, okay. 150, wow. Jesus, that's insane.
That's a lot of heroes.
Yeah. I guess we should have put that on the list to have 115 heroes, because I think we're just assuming that they're going to do that. I don't think anything's ever been said.
Of course they're going to. I mean, it might come as like DLC. I don't know if they're going to have all the heroes on the first thing.
Well, I'm not saying right away, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this list, just to be clear, this is for not initial release necessarily, but
no. At
some point we want these stuff.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think the arcade is that important though. I feel like just the game on its own will be pretty interesting, and they're not going to have to think about weird new things to do. Because let's be real, most of these people are still going to be addicted to Dota, and that's going to be like the side thing that they do. So as far as like how important they feel like Artifact is, I don't know if they're going to be like, oh, Artifact has to be this huge success. I think they're literally just trying to make a supplement to Dota to fund their already one of the biggest esports communities in the world. So what do I know? But I don't think something like an arcade's that important personally.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not saying it's important. It's something that I would like to have, though. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
The wish list, if you were.
Oh, yeah, that's what the video is called. Artifact wish list, actually.
That was the joke. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
All right, last on my list, although I know you have something you want to talk about after.
Oh, I got a lot of things.
So this is more of a question mark. I don't know what I want for alt chat. So we obviously know in Dota people can be very toxic, and in a 1v1 it can be pretty bad, especially if you've played Counter-Strike as much as I have. Hearthstone, you cannot talk at all. You have emotes, right? Or what? I don't know. They're not emotes. What are they called? Whatever they're called, the dialogue things. Heroes of the Storm.
It says like well played,
they can't talk.
And uh-oh and shit like that,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So should Artifact have all chat? I know what you're going to say. I'm personally not sure. I'm more curious what people that are watching this video think.
Yes. Put the alt chat in, okay? Put the communication in. Mind games are half the fucking game, especially in stuff like Dota. And it's only communication with the enemy, you know? You got to get in their head. Here's my thing.
But you can mute them, right?
Yeah, you can mute them. All right, as long as you have a mute button and then it actually says you have been muted by the enemy, it's fine. I think that
it shouldn't tell them that.
What? Why not?
I want them to waste their energy talking shit. when I can't
You
hear
think
them.
So?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, maybe people can lose. Now, in this system, I feel like maybe you should be able to lose your privileges of talking at all. Because talking is not a necessity to playing the game. Talking maybe is a right that you get to do.
Okay. You gain the right to talk.
Right. So,
I mean, what about
if they have
voice
like
chat? Can you voice chat with them, or is it just
That's what
typing?
I'm saying. Yeah. No, I think you could voice chat with them.
Oh, wow. That sounds... Ooh, that's a dangerous road, my friend.
Well, come on. I mean, it's not like you have a video. It's not
Have
like...
you ever unmuted PUBG at the beginning of the game? Oh.
Yeah, all the time.
That's who's going to be playing this game, dude.
Listen, I'm not saying we have chat roulette and 2 webcams come off and some dude's jerking it on the other side.
That would be hilarious. What if you played 10,000 hours, you get webcam access?
Hi! And it's just like a butt. Oh, no.
That would be
I think maybe that's a reward for talking to people. You get to have the voice comm on, and then it's like, oh, hey, great game, really cool thing, you know? But you should always be able to talk back and forth, and you should be able to lose that privilege because, you know, there's no teammates to talk to. And if you're just an asshole who's constantly flaming, always gets reported for voice chat, take it out. Okay. What I really hope they do is they put in the chat wheel from Dota, but we can buy people's phrases again. Remember that in the compendium? That's probably going to be a cosmetic.
So we get Toby's voice in Artifact if we want?
Yeah. And you could just, you know, when Enigma casts something, and then you go, black hole! And, you know, you could just spam shit.
Right.
I'm a big spammer. I like spamming stuff. Let me spam things, please.
Okay. I'm actually okay with this idea. I didn't think I was going to be when you open your mouth, but I think I'm okay with it. You gain the access to... I mean, I guess you all chat by default. You gain access, if you're a good boy, to voice chat. And if you get reported a bunch of times, you don't get to do either. So I think that's fair.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
It's just like muting in Dota.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the last thing is going to be yours. I'll let you take this last thing on the list, buddy.
Last thing, maybe. I got 2 things for you.
Oh.
Okay? 2 things. Number 1, I want there to be more of a community from top down. I want there to be the old updates. Remember Frostivus? Remember Dire Tide? Hearthstone is fantastic about this. I've never played Hearthstone, but I've watched every single update video that they put out because they're fun, they're engaging, and they're interesting. I want there to be events again. And I know that they maybe don't want to do events in Dota anymore because it's like too much work. Stillbreaker was nice and stuff, but when they have expansions and additions, I want that to come. And I feel like this card game, Artifact, is going to be a lot simpler for Valve. Probably one of the more simple projects that they've ever come out with. Counter-Strike's complicated, Dota's complicated, all of it's super complicated. And I want them to finally communicate. Get a community person. Talk to people. Get feedback. That Blizzard is so fucking good at this with like Overwatch and their Jeff Kaplan or whatever. Just like communicate, please.
I do love that idea. It is a double-edged sword, though, and I'm sure Valve knows this. I mean, we've seen Blizzard put their foot in their mouth many a time, and I'm sure a couple of community managers want to kill themselves right about now, especially when their game is not balanced. But yeah, you're right. There definitely needs to be. I mean, that could be said for any Valve game, though, right?
Sure.
But I was actually going to think. I was thinking more. If there's a theme for Dota, it would just translate into Artifact. Like, why not just have it for both, right? If you're going to have an event, it's Dota themed. Frostivus, they're probably going to have it for both games at the same time if they can pull it off.
Sure.
Right? So
I don't know why you would do that. Well, I guess so, because it's like people could be playing on their phone while they're playing Dota, so whatever.
There's going to be a lot of people reported. Are you playing Artifact on your phone, you piece of shit?
No! Yeah, but I hope that they have more communication and more fun updates like in days past, and we don't have stuff that was like this year's Frostivus where it's like, here's a community map that you made. And yeah, bring back events. I know that they're fun for us, but they got to be fun for them too, you know? Anyway, that's point number 1. Point number 2, do you agree?
What?
Is it on your wish list too?
Oh, this last one?
No, what I just said.
Oh, I mean, sure.
Okay, great.
Sure.
All right. The lore! This is the chance! Okay, you can't make a card game without lore. People gotta be able to click on shit while they're waiting. People gotta be able to read stuff. In all card games, there's a 5-minute window or something where somebody does something and then you're waiting for your opponent, which means that they have to give people something to do, which means they can expand on Dota's lore. Bring out the lore, please. I mean, they could build... There's so many things that they added on Dueling Fates that are unexplained, that are probably going to be an artifact. Video coming out shortly. But the lore, more of it, please. One of the only things that we know about Artifact was that they hired a guy to work on it, and he publicly said that they were, to me, sorry, not to sound cool, but they're going to come out with more lore. So, very excited for this. Huge focus on it. Expand Dota 2 lore, because there's people that only like playing games when they feel like they're in a universe. So, go Artifact, please.
Okay.
That's it for me.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge lore guy, personally, but I like it. I just don't spend the time watching your videos. You know,
well, who does? You know?
It's just a little. I mean, I did spend an hour recording those fucking lines for you, but other than
Thank you.
That was miserable, by the way. Holy shit, that's another story. But yeah, I think that completes our wish list for Artifact. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you disagree or agree with anything we say. You can also feel free to tweet at us. I'm sure we will respond. Probably not. Any final words, my friend, before we bid
Here's
everybody
a wish list. Why don't you give us an update, for God's sakes? We need something besides a teaser trailer. How about a trailer? What do we got to wait till TI to get more info on this garbage?
Dude,
we want to know about it.
That would be hilarious. They do the. What if they? What if at TI they hype it up again, like they're gonna have big news, and they just play the exact same?
coming soon.
Oh
no!
That would be pretty fucking good.
All right, I changed my mind. My wish list is that there's no info for TI, and then you play the same teaser trailer. That's on my wish list now.
Yes. All right, and with that, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, hopefully we get more news about Artifacts soon, but if not, we probably will make videos anyway.
Bye.
Bye.